Oh shit. Hey, good evening, YouTube. How's everyone doing this evening? This is the Bobo and Friends podcast. I'm your host, Calvin Bobo, with my co-host Derek. What's going on, D?
Not much, man. Just enjoying these playoffs.
Yes, sir. Pretty good weekend of NBA playoffs this weekend. So, let's touch on the Philadelphia Boston series real quick.
I'm shocked. Shocked. Philly blew it in the end. I'm just amazed. I thought that they would give Boston a lot more of a challenge, but I didn't see them. I didn't pick them to win it, but I also didn't see it. I also didn't see them going down 3-0 to them. They're just how can I best put it? Who's the coach over there? Clint Brown, right?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
So, some things that baffled me with him not taking timeouts, and getting outcoached by Brad Stevens, of course. Who should get Coach of the Year? I might add.
Well, Brad Stevens is a very good coach. I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm just saying, your team is getting murdered and you're not calling a timeout. You ain't Phil Jackson, bro. You ain't gonna sit there and he did this 2 games in a row. And I'm like, dude, you not gonna call nothing?
Well, I'm not. I'm not too. I'm surprised. I'm not gonna say shocked. I did expect Philly to make a series of this.
That's what I'm shocked at, that they're not.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm not ready to put it on coaching though. I'm putting it on those players. I mean, and I hate to say this, but Ben Simmons,
awful.
You know, it wasn't yesterday's game. It was the game before. He had 1 point.
1 point, yeah.
I mean, I know he's a rookie, but come on. I mean,
some of it is coaching, and a lot. I mean, and they might not be ready for prime time, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a bigger stage. Obviously, Boston, even without Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, they are formidable.
Right
now, will they beat the Cavs? I don't know, but they are very talented still, and they are very well coached. So, it's just a matter of I don't really know what Philly can do. Honestly, I mean, that's a tough one yesterday. The Friday they just got, they made some critical turnovers in the end Saturday that costed them. You know what I'm saying? And then it went into overtime. I believe didn't it go into overtime?
Yes, it did. Yeah, it did in fact go into overtime.
Went into overtime, and from there they're young. They proved their youth. How about that?
I do like how they kind of you punch. They're Boston's punching at them, but they don't go down. But I mean, obviously you gotta pull a few games out of this series. Being down 3-0. At this point, I'm just a little surprised. I thought that they would would at least maybe push this series 6 games. I figured they would at least get 2.
So did I.
And at this point, we can only hope that they, just get some pride for themselves and at least get one game instead of getting the broom pulled out on them.
I think it's gonna be desperation. It might be one of them games. You know how when a team is down 3-0 and they desperate and they play the game of their life, like in the game 4 to keep themselves alive, where they might end up blowing the team out or getting close. You're just kind of making it interesting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we all know what's probably going to happen. I'm hoping it goes 6. My prayer is that it goes 6. I really don't. I would hate to see them go out like that.
All right. Well, but one thing I do now, you know, I was looking at the game, the not yesterday's game, but the game before, and I was like, man, if this coach get um has a type of regular season, if they have a better season that they did this year, and they get an abrupt exit in the second round or something like that next year, man, they're gonna get rid of that coach so quick. I just looked at him,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, he looks expendable. I mean, he just didn't.
dude, he didn't know what to do. I don't think he knows what to do.
I mean, there's going to be a common thing as we move along with this. I think the coaching is overrated and underrated in some respects. I think the good coaches get too much credit and the bad coaches get too much blame.
Not in this case.
I'm not. I think it's all the time. Honestly,
Not in this case, though.
I think a lot of.
Well, so I'll throw this out here at you there. And I only bring it up to reference what you were saying. In 1999, I want to say, Dale Harris had the Lakers. The same Laker team now that Phil Jackson inherited and couldn't do nothing really with them. Phil Jackson gets them, takes them to 3. Doug Collins, same thing, couldn't do nothing with Mike. But of course, they didn't get Horace Grant and them, I think, until No, they got all that. They got all that before he took over. But coaching matters more so in the NBA than it does in football, I think.
When you say Phil Jackson, when you say Bill Belichick, I get that, right? But in the reference you used, which was Dale Harris having Shaq and Kobe for a couple years and had some, obviously fell short of expectations, right? I know one year I think they even got swept out of the playoffs type of deal.
Right.
And they get Phil Jackson after Phil Jackson leaves Chicago and, yes. And he, takes them on a three-peat. Probably that first year, right? I think that's correct, right? I believe it was their first year. They got it done.
No,
right?
they got knocked out by Detroit a couple of years when Phil Jackson had taken over.
No, that was after. That was after Phil.
No.
When they got beat by the Pistons,
Phil had taken over.
I know, but they had won the titles first.
No.
Yes.
No.
Derek.
No.
Derek.
No.
Derek,
because when the Bulls got beat by the Pistons,
Derek,
they had not won no titles yet.
Who are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about when Phil was with the Bulls. I'm talking about when Phil took over the Lakers.
When Phil took over the Lakers, of course, they hadn't won no titles then. Until before.
I'm referring to. I'm just saying Phil's first season in LA.
He won a title with them.
That's what I'm saying. So you're saying how Phil Jackson had him. I mean, Dale Harris had
the same group of people now.
Exactly, and couldn't
do it.
Yeah, and he actually, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he had a couple years working with him. Right? Okay,
he did.
So we just got a little mixed up. That's what I meant by that. Is that Phil immediately takes him on a three-peat.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So coaching matter. Like in this case, if you put Brad Stevens on, and you can't do it, but if you put Brad Stevens on this Philly team, I believe the outcome is different for Philly.
But Derek, in some cases though, is what I'm trying to say is, okay, what I'm trying to say is I feel like it's only 3-4 coaches that are that good where it matters. You see
Let me ask you something. Long term now. Do you think Golden State is this good without Steve Kerr?
No, because no. I get you. I get that. Because if you're a coach that comes in and you set up a distinct system like a Phil Jackson, I know I'm flip-flopping the football, but like a Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's cool because we can compare the two.
Right.
That's cool.
But that's what I'm saying. There's the few, if today it's a Steve Kerr, it's a Brad Stevens. There's only, think
In
about
my
it.
opinion, them
It's
the only
29.
two.
I believe
Them the
it's
only two. It's
I believe
30 teams in
it's
29 or 30.
it's,
30 teams
I
in the
think it's
NBA,
30.
if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So it's no more than five coaches, but it's those five coaches that lay
Are
out
elite.
yes,
They
yes.
are elite.
So what I'm saying is you have Tyronn Lue isn't elite.
Not even.
Okay, so that begs the question: if so, Tyronn Lue is taking Cleveland to the finals, right? I mean, well, they've been to the finals the last 3 seasons, and trying to make it a fourth straight season, right? So what I'm trying to say is, if you replace Brad Stevens with you replace Tyronn Lue with Brad Stevens, Cleveland will probably can still make the finals. Winning it won't be the difference in the coaching, is what I'm trying to say.
No, but getting there, Will.
But Tyronn Lue can get them there.
LeBron is getting them there. Bro.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is it doesn't matter there. A lot of times it doesn't matter with the players, because we know that team isn't better than Golden State,
or Houston,
or Houston. I mean they're closer to Houston than they are Golden State.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean if but I'm there's nothing Brad Stevens can do that could make Cleveland a better team.
So you saying it's personnel more so?
Yes, it's more personnel. Yes. Now, don't get me wrong. Greg Popovich, Steve Kerr. There is coaches that set up a good system. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, think about it. Think about when Golden State came out of nowhere when they got rid of Mark Jackson, which a lot of people was very upset with, because he actually had them in the playoffs.
Right, but that's where coaching matters.
But when Steve Kerr took over, he installed a system and had them out there. It was like night and day. Nobody's not screaming and yelling about it anymore, because they're regarded as one of the best teams ever when you listen to these TV analysts and whatnot, and what you see on out in the media today. I mean, sports media, that is, that this team is rivaling the greatest teams of all time and whatnot. So yeah, there are some outliers, but the other 25 coaching jobs, a lot of them are personnel, in my opinion.
Because he's working without Kyrie and without. Keep in mind, he is working without. But we're talking about Brad Stevens. He is working without, arguably, the two best players on his team for the season now.
Right.
That's why I think it matters. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, it does. It does in certain cases, like Doc Rivers. What's your take on Doc Rivers, as an NBA head coach? Just real quick.
Okay, coach. Got lucky. Got a good break with a bunch of veterans in 2008 that won a championship with him.
Okay.
But you see what he did when he got to the Clippers.
So
that was a personnel issue.
So in your opinion, coaching doesn't matter in that realm, right?
In that context, coaching didn't matter.
Okay,
I think you had veterans.
I beg to differ, only because to me, Doc Rivers is an excellent coach. In those last 2 minutes of a game, those plays, a lot of those plays that Boston would draw up in those in those playoff series. What now? We talking 10 years ago now,
yeah,
dude. There was some freaking he drew up some awesome.
That's true.
Now,
And they broke that down
so,
on ABC one
eh,
time,
eh,
where every time out of a timeout, he would come up with something. Or under the 2 minutes, he would come up with something.
Now let me say this though. A lot of it is how the players execute it. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of things we don't see. Like when we question, okay, why did he take that shot? You believe it or not, it could be because somebody didn't do something they were supposed to do. If you don't set the right, if a player is supposed to set a screen for a guy to do a particular to get the ball at a particular spot, and they fail to do so, or go the wrong way or something, we're not gonna know that because they're not gonna go. These athletes don't get in front of the mic and go, or when they do their post game interviews, hey, what went wrong?
He should have hit a screen. And
yes, they don't like,
set a screen.
Boy, yeah. They don't like, player X should have did this, player X should have did that.
A lot of times it's just I had an open shot and I should have made it.
Right.
Usually that's what that is.
Exactly. So there is coaches that have a certain element that brings a certain element to coaching basketball that's very, very helpful is why I said that. So like I said, I just think it just gets slightly overrated and it can be very underrated sometimes.
And also you have good coaches that aren't X and O people, but they're good motivators. You know what I'm saying? We don't. You know what I'm saying?
But we don't know that though, right? I mean, when it comes to the coaches that can hit the right buttons,
Phil Jackson wasn't considered a great X and O coach.
Okay,
from what I've heard.
I mean, but Phil Jackson had a legendary system that he brought in as well, right? Obviously that's X and O's, and
true.
If you do any research on it, the creator of the triangle offense was actually Tex Winters.
Tex Winters, yeah.
Right. So, but that's part of the system. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not just the coach; it's the coaching staff. When we talk about, dude, like freaking Bill Belichick, dude. Besides his coming up on 20 years in New England, even before that, dude, Bill Parcells. I mean, Parcells is a Hall of Fame head coach, right?
Yeah.
All his trips to the Super Bowl, which, if I'm not mistaken, was 2 Super Bowl wins and 1 Super Bowl loss. Who was his defensive coordinator on all 3 of those teams?
Bill Belichick.
Thank you.
And that was on the 2 Bills. If you watch that 30 for 30, which was
I have not seen that one yet, but I will.
Really good.
But that's my thing though. And even so, Bill Belichick is successful as a D coordinator, right?
Right.
And his first head coaching job was actually in Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns. He was the coach when the season the Browns was moved from Cleveland to Baltimore and became the Baltimore Ravens. He was the coach that year. The year before that, they actually made the playoffs. There was 11.
He was also the coach that cut Bernie Kosar.
Okay.
And he was a legend. He was a legend in Cleveland.
Alt Modell was an idiot for, firing him during that year when he announced during the season the team was moving. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just like I said, there is a few situations where it really, really matters, but then sometimes it just doesn't.
So in the case of,
I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of dudes get fired
for no reason.
I think it's just because it's like here's my thing. To me, you should only fire your coach, and I mean if your team sucks, sub by 500. 4 or 5 years, yeah, it's time to do something different. I'm talking about these coaches that actually makes the playoffs and good coaches that really get fired.
Like George Karl.
And you bring in the replacement is worse in some cases.
George, they did that to George Karl, and I'm like, dude, this dude just got coach of the year. and you fire him. Why?
Right. You know,
Yeah.
like let's say Cleveland lost to Indiana in the first round. It's a possibility Tyronn Lue could possibly been replaced.
That would have been insane. That
That's
would have made no sense
but
to me, though.
but if it had happened, you and I both know that possibility could have been a reality.
You think if they get bounced by Indiana, you really think his job would have been on the line? With LeBron at the head? Well, LeBron might be leaving, so it
Well,
wouldn't have mattered.
that's what I'm saying. If there's any question about coaching, they're gonna try to do something to get LeBron to stay if it came to that. And that there's a possibility. I mean, I'm not saying it would have, but to me, that's the type of thing that a lot of franchises do. Like here's me and you obviously we about to date ourselves and date our friendship, but do you recall? And I believe it came from you. Matter of fact, you recall a conversation me and you had many years ago. You called me up and said, "When y'all getting rid of Jim Tressel?" Do you remember my exact words?
I can't right offhand.
Okay.
And I can't even. I remember calling you. I can't even remember why I asked you about that.
Dude, and I said, "Tell me, I will replace him when we know we're gonna get somebody better."
Yeah, because I think your words are who we gonna replace him with.
Thank you. I said he's not. There's no need to replace him. He's a very good coach.
And I think I said that after he got kicked in the teeth by the Gators, and he got kicked in the teeth by somebody else.
That's exactly. And it was LSU. You're right. It was in a national title game, and I told you I'd rather take my chances with Jim Tressel and get into those title games than bring in an unknown. When he got removed from Ohio State for the scandal, the covering up of player eligibility mumbo jumbo, right? What happened? He was eventually replaced. I mean, they had an interim in the one season, but then come Urban Meyer. I'm good with that. We upgraded.
I thought Rich Rod came before Urban.
No, Rich Rodriguez was in Michigan, man.
Michigan, that's right. That's right.
No,
that's right.
They went with.
He was in Michigan. You're right. That's right.
Yeah, they went with an interim for 1 year, and Luke Fickell, right? Ain't that his name, Luke Fickell?
Yeah, and then y'all ended up getting Urban and won a title.
Right, but Urban's a good coach, right? And what I'm trying to say is you have to get equal or greater value, man. And a lot of these sports teams, franchises, and universities, they do dumb stuff. You know, it's almost like okay, well, we got to do something here, and it's like
desperation, man. And you recruit, you trying to keep, you trying to do what you got to do, Now, Mike, and I'll touch on this real quick, and then we'll move on. The Gators, this Dan Mullen thing, I don't know how it's gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, exactly. But it's just like oh crap. I just had a scenario. Dang it, they slipped my mind. But you absolutely. I mean, that's what all I'm trying to say is it can be very overrated sometimes, man.
It can be, but I think more often than not, it comes down to, in the NBA at least, it does. I guess you can, in a way, you're kind of right. It kind of comes down to the players, but the coaches don't help a lot of times.
And Tyronn Lue, right? I think Tyronn Lue doesn't get as much credit as he deserves. I think he's a very big reason, Cleveland came back and won that title against Golden State 2 seasons ago. Because I don't know, they did defend Golden State differently in the middle of that series and at the end. So you got to get at the coaching. If the way we're defending an opponent is an adjustment, if that's an adjustment that's made, that always get credited with the coaching, right?
Yeah,
so there is times when coaches make some big time decisions and whatnot, but then there's other times where it's like, and y'all gonna hire another numbskull, or the coach is decent, the coaching is decent, and you about to hire this idiot, and he even worse.
Yeah, see the New York Knicks for that one.
Right. So okay. So let's move along, man.
Yeah.
LeBron and the Cavaliers. I'm sorry. LeBron is just yanking the hearts out of Toronto and Toronto fans, man.
Toronto. I'm so disappointed. Like, you the number one seed and you get dominated like this. And the thing about it is, you made all this noise. Your coach comes out and said, "Oh, we were still the better team. If we had done this, that, and the third in a couple of press conferences ago." I'm like, dude, you're down 2-0. How can you be the better team right now? You're down. You're getting spanked. I mean, he went for 40 on y'all the other night. Y'all, you have no chance. I thought it would be different, man. I was totally off base.
Look, like this. It's like this. Indiana, when Indiana says the better team didn't win,
I can believe that.
Nobody's arguing that, right?
Yeah.
But when you about to get swept, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And you representing the East as a number one seed at that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get it.
You were a fraud. Like when you were a fraud. You came in, you got by Miami, and then you got
they're quite a fraud because
dude, he owns them.
You win those games though, dude. The problem is, and I've told you this. I remember telling you this a few months ago that Toronto. I'm not gonna say they was a fraud, but because if you win those games, you win 50-something games, you win the number one over, you win the most games in your conference. You earn that. You did earn that.
You earned that, but that just shows how much the regular season doesn't matter.
Well, true.
You know what I'm saying? That just shows you how much the regular season does not matter in that case. And they've had their number, the last 2-3 years? They've owned them.
Yeah.
So you can, I mean, in a way, it's one of them, okay, show me. Dude, y'all better show me.
Yeah. Well, they need a Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan are just all-star type of players. There's none of those. I mean, and actually, Kyle Lowry actually played a very good second half last night. I was impressed with how he brought them back, and the way they came back in that game reminded me of Game 1 of how, if you remember Game 1. Toronto led the whole game until Cleveland tied it up at the end, right? And then obviously won in overtime.
Yeah.
And to me, it looked like the roles was reversed last night. And I thought they were going to head to overtime, and I thought it was going to be, like Game 1, but just the roles would have been reversed. But LeBron said, "Nah, bro."
Yeah.
Basically.
And that's basically what he's doing. That's what I kind of wanted to talk about, man. He's just basically carrying them, bro. He's just like, okay, y'all, we let me take y'all by the hand. Now, right. Kevin Love showed out last night a little bit, did a little something,
right?
But basically, man,
the role players, everybody else a lot of players have stepped up this series. They wasn't doing that first round. And had got pushed all the way to freaking Game 7. But at least this round, Kevin Love had a good night last night, and I believe he had 31 points the Game 3. So he's playing like a number 2, the second best player on the team should play.
Yeah, I look for them to end this tomorrow.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
I look for them to end this tomorrow so we can get on with the Boston and Cleveland series.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens there. I think that's a toss-up series. Honestly, I think either
So
one of those
okay,
teams could win it.
so I think that would be a series where coaching may matter,
Yeah,
right?
and in that case,
Let's say so here's a like which we agreed with about Brad Stevens. If Brad Stevens takes his current health, his current roster with the available bodies, players that are available to him to the finals, that's very good. I mean, he doesn't have his best player and arguably his second best player.
right?
Because I really think Al Horford's the second best player on the team. Because Gordon Hayward only played 7 minutes before he got hurt, and I don't think he was that great. I mean, he got paid like he was great, but I don't think he was that great in Utah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not. I don't want to really like, you know.
I didn't watch much Utah, so I really can't
Yeah.
speak on
Yeah.
on Gordon Hayward like that.
Yeah. I wasn't. I'm not overly impressed. I actually think he's been overpaid for a while now.
Actually, I think you're right though about Al Horford. Underrated, bro. That was a great pickup for them.
Well, the problem is Al Horford's got some age on him now. You know what I'm saying? He's 10 years in the league and he played 3 years in college. So he, his game is going to decline. It's only going to be so much because of his age. He's not as athletic as he was, let's say 5 seasons ago when he was in when he got the when he was with the Hawks.
Hawks, yeah.
What was he played his whole career with the Hawks before he went to Boston, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if the Hawks drafted him or not. So,
yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, if Boston, where Boston goes, even where they at now, the difference to me is coaching.
For sure.
Because it's your system that you got in place. You know what I'm saying? Where you lose your best player and second or third best player to injuries, and you still competing for a freaking NBA title. So, all right, let's jump to Were you done with Cleveland and your thoughts on LeBron?
Yeah. I'm just amazed, bro. That's all I can really say. As somebody that don't really care for him all that much, what he's done, you cannot. And I was talking to my best friend about this yesterday. He don't want to give him no kind of credit. He that person that that we were talking about the other night. He don't care what he do. I said, dude, you got to acknowledge it though, bro. What this guy is doing. Jordan didn't have it this bad, dude. He's got nobody. He's got nobody.
Well, dude, okay, but that's an indictment on, in my opinion, on Kevin Love. I mean, let's face it, Kevin Love isn't a nobody.
He's not a nobody.
Is Kevin Love playing? Kevin Love, we have not seen the type of Kevin Love that was in Minnesota. Okay.
Not even.
But if this series, he's playing like a second option on the team supposed to play though, right?
Kind of. I mean, yeah. Did he have 2 great games?
Oh, yeah. No.
Okay, so he had 2 good games. So yeah, but ultimately, as LeBron goes, they go. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That goes without saying. But I'm just saying, this dude is literally, he's a beast, man, and you just got to give it up to him. He's a beast right now. He killing them. He ripping out Toronto. He just, I don't know what he's gonna do against Boston. We'll see, but he right now, boy, Toronto got to be like, damn. We thought we had it. Boy.
All right, let's move. Let's
get to Houston
finals, right? Let's Golden State in New Orleans, right? That one's now 3-1, right?
3-1, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I was
New
off. I
Orleans
thought it was
played
gonna be a sweep, but they
New
played
Orleans.
good ball.
Yeah, they played a good game three, right? One game three. Actually, they won handily, right? They blew them out,
19.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, beat them by 19.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you though. I mean, this team is arguably missing their best player. I actually think Cousins is better than Anthony Davis. By the way, do you?
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh. Um,
So I take it you don't.
I don't. I
Okay.
like AD. I think AD is
No, I
better.
didn't. Okay, okay. So you think
Yeah.
AD is
I
better?
think
Okay,
AD is better,
okay.
yes.
All
I
right.
think AD is
AD
better.
better.
I think he's
Um.
better. But yeah, they have lost
So
their
yeah,
best player,
yeah,
their second best player.
so having him, let's say, I mean, I believe DeMarcus Cousins numbers are like, what, at least 25 points a game, 12, 13 rebounds, some block
Something like that.
shots.
Yeah.
I mean, this ain't a, you know, I mean, this is a very good player, and he's one of the best big men in the league. I mean, I really think I really wish he was playing to really see to really tell us, is pairing them two together was the right thing to do. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense. If maybe trading one of those guys, for another good wing player or something like that. Now, what they did do was when Cousins got injured, which was maybe like a week or two before the trade deadline, they did trade for Mirotic from the Bulls, right? To give them another big man, right? I guess to help
Yeah.
alleviate some of the you know on the roster with Cousins being injured and whatnot. But I would really like to see how this team would respond.
I
You
think it would
know,
probably go 7 or 6 if Cousins was playing.
yeah. I
But
mean,
I believe Warriors would probably ultimately win it. But it would be interesting
I
to see.
I have to admit, I was actually hoping that experiment would have fell on its face.
Really?
Yeah, well, that was because I was hoping that one of them, like I actually hoped that they wouldn't make the playoffs with both of them healthy. I hoped that they didn't make the playoffs, and they would have traded one of them to Cleveland. Uh, like I believe it was,
Wow.
I believe Cousins' contract might have been up. One of their contracts would have been up next year or this year, and I hope that they'll be like, okay, we ain't making the playoffs, and you probably gonna leave, so let's trade you for something. And I was hoping a three-way trade would have landed him with LeBron or something like that. So I did root for that to fail. And here's another example of coaching matters, right? Alvin Gentry, which he's been around a while. He's had other head coaching jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's doing a very good job. And his last
I believe he
job,
coached the Pistons, didn't he?
no, he coached the Clippers, and he coached another team that I can't think of it. He's had head coaching jobs before, but
Yeah.
he was, before he got in New Orleans, he was the assistant coach in Golden State
Right. I
with with,
remember that.
with Steve Kerr. So I mean, maybe he learned some things from Steve Kerr's system, and they might be helping him. I mean, they are in the second round of the playoffs with arguably they best without their best player, right?
Right.
I think coaching may matter in that situation. Um, so you want to go ahead and move to the Houston Utah series?
Yeah. I think that's going as I thought it would. I actually thought that Houston would sweep these boys, but they showed something.
Okay.
Utah showed a little something. They doing good. They doing well, rather. I hate using that term, but they're doing well. I don't know what the score is right now. I have it kind of turned down.
Man, there's a player I'm actually disappointed with Utah. It's Derek Favors, man.
Yeah, I know. Like,
He kind
yeah,
of sucks, man.
yeah, he does.
He
Like,
really sucks.
he's not been good at all. Honestly, he's not been good at all. And that's the guy. I mean, his name has not been mentioned very much with good things
Right.
happening.
I mean, they got Donovan Mitchell, a rookie. You know, very good player. Um, Rudy Gobert has been hurt, and he's normally a lot better defensively, but that hadn't been the case lately.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the better team's going to win that series, in my opinion. With as far as Houston,
Yeah.
going on them, and that'll be the and that'll be one of the ones where the seed mattered, right? Because that'll be the number one versus the number two.
Right.
Cleveland, I mean, the East won't be, right? I mean, unless Toronto,
a miracle happens.
Yeah, do the impossible that's never happened before and come back from 3-0. It's gonna happen one of these days, but it's not gonna happen
this time.
So,
yeah, they're gonna put them out of their misery tomorrow, man.
Yeah,
but I'm still just like I'm so disappointed. I don't want to say I'm disappointed in Philly. I just wanted to touch on it real quick. I'm just sad. I'm just gonna be sad to see them go because I really like Embiid. He's like one of my favorite young players to watch.
See, that's my thing though. I honestly think that the thing with Embiid, I like Embiid, but I really feel like he's gonna have to give me more than this year before I'm gonna not say he's not injury prone. I still think he's considered injury risk in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
So, but if he shakes that injuries, his early injuries that he that started for him in college, and if he's over that, then there'll be a team on the rise in the years come. It may not be with that coach. They may have to get another coach. It's possible.
I believe it will happen.
Yeah, I mean, like case in point. Since I hate Dwayne Casey.
Poor Dwayne. We just
not. And guess what? He probably will get fired.
Oh yeah. If they don't break that team up.
And my point, they're not gonna break that team up because they're not gonna get equal or better value.
But who can they get to help them? They'll
have to trade DeRozan.
So they're going to break the team up. Then if they trade him, that will break up that.
Right. What I'm telling you is there won't be a trade that's going to make them better giving up DeRozan.
Oh no.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, because if they do, it's going to have to be for like a draft pick, right?
Right.
And, come on now, that don't mean anything. So, and it's Toronto, right? Nobody's. Even I don't know their cap situation, but even if they have the cap space, nobody's breaking their neck to go to
right. Nobody like, man, boy, I want to go to camp.
But there's an example of I was looking at Dwayne Casey. I was like, this dude probably gonna get fired. You get swept. That ain't on coaching. That's on them players. To me, that series is being decided on the floor.
Yeah, because they had a chance last night.
Yeah.
Had a chance. Yeah. And shots just did, yeah.
No, okay, maybe they could have did something differently.
Like what?
I don't know. They could have tried to make LeBron get that ball up to somebody else.
Not the way they were shooting last night. It wouldn't have mattered, I don't think. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, dude, they went the whole, which I don't understand this. Why did Cleveland take the ball out at the half court?
I don't know.
Is it optional?
I think it is.
They made it seem like it's an option.
It is.
Like, I was like,
It is.
why did
Now
Jordan
it
go to the
is.
court?
It didn't used to be. You could, you now it is. So I'm not sure why he did that either.
I had no idea that was optional. When they did that, I was like, that's weird. And um, maybe that's why they did that in an attempt to, I guess, give LeBron a little more space, because if it was in the half court, I think they would have definitely tried to do some things to get it out of LeBron's hand and at least let somebody else beat him. Somebody
Yeah.
else could have possibly made it, but
Because
I
who's
mean,
getting the ball, and I'm not sure why y'all didn't like. You're right. Why
and
y'all
and and,
didn't?
and in LeBron's post game, he actually said initially he actually told George Hill to go get the ball because of the way he was initially defended, and Kevin Love only wanted to throw it to LeBron. He only wanted to inbound it to LeBron. I mean, I guess that's what the play was. It was designed that way, and and Kevin Love was sticking to that. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, you fired Dwayne Casey, they're gonna get another coach. Over the summer, it don't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. They no. But
Yeah.
okay, so you wanted to talk about something else, right? You wanted to talk about what was that about the overall NBA?
The state of it, and is it good that we only have like 4 teams? Because I was discussing this
Okay.
with my best friend yesterday, and we were
Okay.
talking about Mike Greenberg, and I mentioned to him that on the show Get Up, which is ESPN's new answer, I guess, to NFL morning or whatever it's called, NFL Monday or NFL weekdays from 7 to 10. It's an answer to it. He was mentioning, going on and on about how Golden State is the greatest team of all time, and we were like, well, yeah. I guess you can be if you're the only good team in your conference. If there's only one good team besides you, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
And it's through no fault of their own, of course.
so,
It is what it is. But
so go ahead. Sorry.
is it, to me? I don't necessarily think this is a good thing for the NBA.
All right.
I think you need some kind of dude. I think eventually people are gonna get tired of seeing Golden State in there every year. Because the NBA is fooling themselves. They still don't have the ratings that they used to have back when, and I'm not harping on it, but it's just a fact. They still don't have the ratings that they had when Mike was in. Even when Magic and them boys was playing, they don't have those ratings. Still, even today, they have not been able to get back what those players provided.
All right. Hey,
But go ahead.
just know. Let me. I just wanted to say, let me know when you're done. I mean, when I say that is because I want to answer your question basically. So.
Oh yeah, I'm good. Go
okay.
ahead.
You posed the question: is that going to be bad for the NBA? Right.
Right.
Okay. Derek, the NBA's always been like this. Always. Where there's only, dude, every freaking season, there's only 3, at best 4 teams that can possibly win the
But at
title.
least the conference was good. Come on now. At
Dude,
least the conferences were good. For example, let's talk about it. In the East back in the day, you had, let's see, I'm trying to think. When Jordan was repeating, you had the Knicks who were good. You had Indiana who was good. I'm trying to think of some more teams. You had Cleveland. All these teams in the East were good. You know what I'm saying? Who do they have? Like right now, literally, you can name on your hand how many good teams there are total right now in the NBA. And I get what you're saying, but dude, this is worse.
well, it's
This is
worse because
worse.
it's worse because it's a good, strong possibility we're going to see the same 2 teams in the NBA Finals for the four
Again.
straight years. So I get that. I get that. You got Cleveland.
You'll see one of
I'm
them.
sorry,
Yeah.
LeBron has been the king of the East.
Since he came.
He has been the Thanos. That's me throwing that Marvel Infinity Wars. Spoiler alert out there. LeBron is the Thanos of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, he is. Unfortunately, he is.
Because I mean, one player taking two different teams to possibly to the NBA Finals 7 years and possibly an eighth straight year, and then the other team in the West possibly 4 straight years. Yeah, you're right. It is bad, but
it's terrible.
Okay, but here let me throw this stat out to you, right? Since for the past 38 years, Derek, you know, there's only been 11 different NBA champion franchise-wise. Only 11 different franchises.
Wow. That's wild.
There's only one, and I can really go further. I just decided to just stick with the last, 30 to 40 years. So 38 years. 38
11
seasons.
Champions.
11. 11. Only 11 different franchises have been NBA
and I'm
champions.
guessing the Celtics are in that number.
Of course.
The Bulls are in that number.
Of course.
Houston's in that number.
Yep.
I'm not gonna name them all, but I'm pretty sure I got a good idea of who's probably all in that number. Celtics actually should be in that number a few times.
Derek, I'll name them for you, Derek. Boston, Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers, Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, I forgot about them.
One title, right?
Yeah.
Detroit Pistons.
2 titles, right?
Well, no, okay. Three titles.
3?
The back-to-back, and remember when they won with Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups?
That's right.
Yeah, they
right.
got 3, right?
That's right. 3,
okay.
Yeah.
So what's that put us at? 4?
4, yeah.
The Bulls are 5.
Yeah, they had 6 titles.
Yep. Houston Rockets.
2 titles.
Back-to-back titles, multi-titles. Yeah. San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, God, ridiculous.
Multiple titles.
4, 5.
Miami Heat. 2 titles.
2 titles, yeah.
Dallas Mavericks, 1.
1, right.
Golden State Warriors, multiple titles. And Cleveland, 1 title. So, out of those 11 teams,
only 2 were really different.
No, 3. 3. Philadelphia, Cleveland, and Dallas.
Dallas, right.
So
that's sad. Though.
Okay, but dude, that's
it is like what it is.
That's like a parody. That's like a parody, dude. I love the NFL because there's a closer sense of parody. When
you can go from worst to first in NFL in a year. You can't do that.
And how many times have the 6th seed won the Super Bowl? Since they went to the format where 12 teams, it's always been 12 teams. No, at one time it was maybe 10 teams, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you go back the last 15, 20 years, I know there's been at least 2 teams that was the last team in the playoffs and they won it all.
Right.
From that wild card spot. So
not a whole lot of repeating going on in the NFL, bro.
Well, of course.
Not now.
But there's more parity. I guarantee you over the 38 years, there's more than 11 different champions.
Oh, God, yeah.
So, I mean, and that's, I mean, I don't know, dude. That's just kind of, so even if, so let's say, I mean, heck, so here's the deal. Even if, let's say, Golden State don't win it and Houston win it, my list still doesn't change.
Nope, because Houston is back in it again.
Matter of fact, and the way it's going, no champion if unless Philly, Pelicans, or Toronto come back in this series. One of these teams come back. The 4 teams that'll be left are all previous winners out of the last 38 years.
Yep. You're
So
exactly right.
it's no, that's the parity does suck, but you know your question was, is it bad for the league? I'm gonna say no, because it's been like that. It's really been like that. I
You
mean,
know
that's what.
what'll tell when LeBron retires? It'll tell. The story will be told.
No, there'll just be somebody else that'll step up. Well, there is a case where you know, one team is just running it on one side, and then the other side is kind of up for grabs,
Which
right?
that's
Well,
what's gonna
it
happen
ain't
when he
really up.
retires.
It may be up for grabs amongst 2-3 teams or something like that, right? Let's look at it in this situation. Hopefully, it will be Philadelphia, right?
You would like to see that, yeah.
I mean, if LeBron retires or leaves Cleveland and go to the Western Conference, all the teams out east, if you're Boston, if you Philadelphia, you're excited. You know what I'm saying? Because you should be next in line. You know, I mean, anything, you know, any other things can take place. I'm just throwing that out there, but
Yeah.
yeah, the parody. But it's all. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I get you, but it's always been that way. If when you
Yeah,
look,
it's more of a dynastic league. It's more set up to be a dynastic type of league than the NFL is. Definitely.
I mean, dude, just do you know? Like, I really feel like, you know, the way free agency kind of works now. And I think you have a lot of teams that really, you know, I feel like it really started with, I won't, you know, especially when it comes to, you know, when teams putting these two, we used to call them big three, or now they say max players now, right?
Yeah.
You know, when now Boston, that wasn't done via free agency, right? They already had Paul Pierce. They already had Rondo. They traded for Garnett, and then no, they traded for Ray Allen. They traded for
Right.
Ray Allen, and then once the Ray Allen, they'd already tried to get Garnett, but Garnett said no. He's like, this ain't worth me leaving. He was still being loyal to Minnesota. When they got their hands on Ray Allen draft night, then he was like, okay, now it's worth me leaving Minnesota now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but that was, to me, that was the organization making the right trade.
Yeah, that wasn't a super team.
Right.
That
Right.
wasn't what they're doing now.
So now, well, you ain't go. When you think about it, it's only really been done once or twice, right? Then, Chris Bosh and LeBron. Well, but that's what I'm saying. But, Pat Riley, he looked into the future and said, those guys are all going to be free agents the same year, right? Because if memory serves correct, Carmelo signed. Remember that 03 draft, the draft that LeBron, Carmelo, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade, they all came in the same year, right? They all part of the same class.
Yeah.
Well,
it's hard to believe they've been playing that long.
Carmelo actually signed his extension first,
right?
Well, LeBron signed a shorter deal, and everybody else, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, followed suit and was like, "Oh, we're gonna do what you did," right?
Right.
So they all became free agents the same year. No,
right.
And Pat Riley purposely made sure he was going to get rid of as many contracts he can to have a shot at signing all of them.
Right.
See, the whole thing is the team has to create the space in order for it to happen. For a guy, whether it's LeBron or Kevin Durant, to be able to just go to this team and sign with this team outright.
Right. Correct.
I mean, to me, for Golden State to have the team they had and to have the cap space. Now, there was, you know, when you drafted Draymond Green in the second round, You see what I'm saying? And you extended Curry. You gave Curry an extension before Curry won his MVP. You see what I'm saying? And he still has some ankle issues. Okay, they got lucky to have that. You know what I'm saying? Let him not sign that contract, not until he became the MVP, because Curry didn't sign a max deal.
True.
You see what I'm saying? So the team, sometimes the organizations really have to really do something smart in order for these teams to join up. I mean, for these players to join forces. I mean, Kevin Garnett joined a team that went 73-9.
Kevin
Durant.
Durant, you mean?
Yeah. I said Kevin Love?
You said Garnett.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kevin Durant joined a 73-9 team that
didn't need it, in my opinion.
Well, I think they needed him.
Nah, I think they would beat Cleveland without him.
They did the year, I mean, it's possible, but they wasn't. Dude, it just made them it made them just that much lethal, better.
But it made them that much more lethal. But I think they would have beat Cleveland last year with or without him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. No, last year, no. I actually think Cleveland would have won last year.
Oh no.
But I think Cleveland would have won last year.
It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt to get him, bro.
It definitely didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt at all.
It definitely didn't hurt. I mean, so I don't even want to put that much on the player movement is kind of is making it a little. I mean, you basically, especially last year, Oklahoma City was no longer a contender.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even though they still, I believe they did make the playoffs, and Russell Westbrook had an MVP season, but were they really gonna compete for the title, to challenge Golden State for the for the crown? Right. And that's just for the West, right? I mean, and you look at Chris Paul. You see what I'm saying? Chris Paul, dude. Did you ever see that? I know it was a 2 or 3 part documentary on it was on ESPN about basically how he decided to go to Houston.
I did not know that. They got a document. I wonder what it's called.
It was back over the summer. I forget what it was called. It was like, I believe it was a 3 part documentary. And the first one, he sat down. It wasn't I know it wasn't Doc Rivers. I don't know if the dude was a GM, assistant GM. He was on like a little conference call with them, like a video call. Mm-hmm. And they was trying to, basically make they claim to they case for him staying with them, right? Because he could have opted out of his contract. He didn't opt out of his contract.
Right.
The Clippers just ended up trading him to Houston, but this was before July 1 when he could have terminated his contract.
Right.
So the GM saying, well, we bringing this guy back, blah 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 blah, and he tell them what they plan to do, and he said, does that help us beat? Does that make us beat? Give us the ability to beat Golden State? And the dude, he couldn't lie. He said, "You're right." And to me, some people are gonna, make their decision based on that. Like, no, I need to get with somebody that I have a shot to beat these dudes with.
And he does.
Well, yeah, I didn't think so. When they said, I was like, that don't mean you gonna win it. I was like, I don't know if you're gonna have a shot just hooking up with James Harden. It proved me wrong.
But that's where the coaching matters. That's where you get back to where I think the system.
I'm not about to give Mike that
I'm finna qualify it though. Hold on, I'm finna qualify it. That's when coaching matter in the regular season. That's when it matters in the regular season because this dude has done nothing.
You make it to the West. You make it to the conference finals, and you got home court against arguably one of the greatest teams ever. He doing okay. I'm just not ready to I'm just not ready to
But
say.
I think his system and his coaching matters because wherever he's gone, they've been great regular
Oh,
season teams,
well,
except for the Lakers.
they've been great offensively.
Right. Offensively, great. But defensively, that's always been an Achilles heel
Man,
for him.
I remember. I can't tell you the player. I believe there was well, somebody probably quoted a player that said, "Man, whenever they have timeouts and they're on defense, it was like playoff series with Mike D'Antoni, and they said they wouldn't hardly even talk because there was no he didn't know defense. That they wouldn't even talk about it that much. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
you take that time out and they're on defense. They said that the player said it's never really much said because all he does is offense. I mean,
Yeah, but
maybe they got a good defensive assistant coach that's helping
yeah,
with the defense.
ultimately though,
I don't know.
you're gonna have to make stops.
Yeah,
We'll see though.
we'll see how it go against
There's gonna be some high scoring games, bro.
Steve Kerr versus
Yeah, because them gonna be some high scoring games. But I think the defense of Steve Kerr, I think that Houston has a chance of winning it, but I think ultimately, I think it's gonna be a defensive edge. It's gonna go to the Golden State Warriors on that.
dude. I really hope Houston.
I hope Houston wins it.
I just
I'm
want
rooting for them.
Yeah,
I just want to see somebody else, man. I mean,
even though I'm on one side of the I'm on the east side, with Cleveland being my favorite team, it's gonna be kind of routine to see the the same two teams in the finals again, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I would literally, if Cleveland wasn't in this scenario, I would probably throw up in my mouth if I had to look at the same four teams 4 straight years, dude. I'm sorry, because I mean
wow.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But
my dude said he would throw up in it. So if it wasn't Cleveland, but it was Golden State and somebody else, you'll throw up in it.
Dude, I'm tired of Golden State. I'm tired of Golden State. I'm not tired of Steph. I'm not tired. I can't sit there and say I'm tired of Cleveland. I'm kind of good with.
Of course, that's
my season. With my season lasting, my NBA season lasting into June. I'm good with that because
I wouldn't be good with that outcome
because LeBron before LeBron got there, my season never made it to June ever.
Shoot, your season never made it past April.
Yeah, it did, man. Cleveland made the playoffs back in the 90s.
Nah,
until they ran into Michael and round two. They made it.
Talk about them Cleveland teams.
But they made it to the conference finals once or twice in the 90s.
No. We ain't talking about them teams. They don't count because they made it.
Oh, you talking about? Well,
yeah, we talking about.
Dude, only 10 years separate that team from.
Yeah, but in them 10 years, though.
Okay, but that's a long time ago. That's a long time ago, Derek. Come on.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Dude, I'm just saying, bro.
LeBron League, year 15.
But I'm just saying, you brought up the fact that, well, you mentioned June. I'm like, shit, y'all ain't even get to April.
Just for a little while.
Y'all was out of it generally before the season ended, before LeBron got there. Okay, if you don't count the teams of the 90s and the 80s.
All right, now you just doing selective.
Oh, here we go. But anyway, it don't matter now because they end it every year. So you get to enjoy this era of greatness until July.
All right, D. Let's switch gears, man. Let's get off of sports for a minute, man. Let's talk some TV.
Okay.
All right. I really hope you see Infinity War soon, man, because I really want to break that down with somebody. So, but that because I just saw that yesterday, by the way. I just wanted to put that out there. I liked it, but I'm not telling you it was the best movie ever. I just don't want to hype it up. I'm not trying to hype it up, but there is some things that the way this film ends, that just really left a lot of questions. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I just wanted to just throw that out there. Have you watched? Let's talk. Let's what we watched on Netflix recently.
So I watched, of course, 7 Seconds.
Okay, so
Um,
I've watched that too. So let's just work with that, right?
okay.
Well, tell me what you think. Oh, I'm
So
sorry. Tell me what you think, and give me a and give me a rating. Give me a letter grade, A through F.
I give it an A.
Okay.
I
Now,
give it
okay,
an A.
and tell me why.
I like the storyline. I love. Um, she's one of my favorite black actresses.
You're talking about
Regina King.
yeah.
Love, love, love Regina King. Anything she plays in, I love it. Um, and the only reason I wouldn't give it an A+ is because of the ending, and I don't want to give it away for people that haven't seen it.
Hey, no,
But,
man,
but
no. You just say spoiler alert, man. If they ain't seen it, that's I mean, come
hey,
on. How we gonna talk about something and don't talk about the end? Come on now, go ahead.
fine. So I was disappointed with the ending,
Okay,
but I'm not surprised. Typically, that's how black folks are treated, and I'm not trying to get on a political rant, but you kind of knew that they would probably that the guy would only get like 30 days a year and only
okay,
have to do 30 days. So, and the very fact that they left a young black boy there for 12 hours, just, and then the stuff that they did to cover it up just was out. It's just crazy.
okay.
And I actually sat down and watched this in one sitting, which I hardly ever do.
So you watched all
I
10 episodes just
just back to back
in a day?
in a day. I
Well,
watched it all.
well, see, Netflix will make you do that, man. Especially if it's only 10 episodes,
Yeah,
right? So you just
my
kind of get. I mean, which I love, by the way. I love how and I'm kind of that way now. I can't watch a series week to week anymore, man. I can't watch a show week to week. That's just so drawn out to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is kind of drawn out, but I'm
So
used to Netflix. Kind of got me spoiled in that aspect.
right. So let me so are you so that's all you got on it or whatever?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
So let me tell you what I think about it, dude. So I think I liked it, Derek. I'm gonna give it a C though.
I see.
Yes. And here's my reasons why. I I thought the the overall direction of the series. I didn't like the character I didn't like was the assistant district attorney, KJ Harper. Her character, right? I didn't like her character. I felt her character was just they tried to develop arcs for her story arcs for her character. I think that just wasn't needed. Like, okay, it's one thing, yeah, she's an alcoholic. Um, and she seems to have some sort of insecurities where I guess the only way she felt better by herself was, having sex with random men or whatever was in her life. But then there was one part in that freaking series where she goes to some house and there's a little girl outside and the little girl is like she looking at the little girl looking at her like trying to figure out who she is. Then a lady come out and go, "You're not supposed to be here. Go inside, little girl." And I don't
They
recall them
never
ever tying
elaborated
that.
on it though.
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? So that really aggravated me, right? And I just felt that it went too personal with a lot of the reoccurring characters. The uncle that they came back from the army.
Yeah.
Um, dude, I felt like
Like you
they
didn't care to know about the gang ties
yeah, that
and
was
all that stuff.
Seth. Like,
Steph,
no,
yeah.
the gang ties was fine, but um it was the part when he remember he was trying to get a job and he kept going to the VA to
Right.
try to get a job and he met the dude. He didn't know what the dude was doing, and the dude was Muslim and was in the room praying, and it was
Right.
like I don't what does this mean for the show? Like,
Nothing. Maybe it
exactly.
just gives you a
So
glimpse into the I think they were just trying to give you kind of like a glimpse into the,
They they
you know.
they could have did a little more where I don't know.
I'm a little upset.
There was
Go
there
ahead.
was
I'm
a few
sorry.
things that I just didn't like. Now the ending, um, the ending, I wasn't surprised because there's one thing, this is a case of art
Imitating
imitating
life.
imitating real life because now and I'm not even going to get into the racial component of it, but just the law, the way the courts work, it's not about what you know, it's what you can prove.
Right,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? And the way that, like one of the things which I know it would have been the case, but was aggravating me as I was watching it, where how they kept trying to say the boy was a gangbanger,
A
was
gangbang,
gang
right.
affiliated and whatnot. And I'm like, that ain't got nothing to do with him being hit by a darn car. You know what I'm saying?
At all.
Yeah, like even if he was a drug dealer, it's okay. It's okay
It's
to
okay
run
to hit
down.
him by a car with a car.
Yeah, but when I thought about it, I'm like, if that really
So are they
happened,
trying to say that his
they would
life doesn't
they would
matter because he was a gangbanger and oh well?
well, to me, what all I'm saying is if it was real life, it would be thrown out there in the newspaper that he was gang affiliated. His uncle is in the gang. His best friend or his uncle was in the gang or whatever, the stuff that they was throwing out there in the show, that's definitely what would have transpired had it been real life. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. And to me, when it comes to real life, those things should not matter. You know what I'm saying?
No, it shouldn't.
We see those things in anything. If anything, there's always some media outlet uncovering something. You know what I'm saying? That everything they want the public opinion to matter for some reason.
Right.
They now know, okay, the media is very powerful, or us getting this out there really helps us. We want this to play out in public before it's even played out in court. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So I get that. And okay, and spoiler alert, the whole little side thing that had him gay.
That's what I was getting ready to touch on.
Dude,
like, who cares? Why is that relevant?
Dude.
Why is that relevant?
Dude. That was I was kind of mad about that, just because to me they didn't have to. I thought it was too much. It was too much.
Yeah.
I just thought that they was able to come up with a series to focus on the incident. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. So yeah, those few things, those are things that disappointed me with that show, man. Was with that. That's why I only give it a C, man.
A tough one, man.
Yeah, that's why I only give it a. That's why, because it was funny because I didn't watch it. Of course, I didn't watch it in one sitting. I actually watched it with my wife, and we had to. She had to work. So we went maybe a week and a half before we watched the last 2 or 3 episodes.
I ended up watching it by myself because my wife didn't like the audio description. She didn't like to hear it describing the stuff that she could already see.
Oh, okay.
So
when
I watched it by myself.
Okay, so when I we watched the first 7 in a couple days. We watched it maybe like 2 or 3 days, and then we had to wait a week and a half, and we picked back up on it and finished it up. But we was aggravated before we even finished it. We was like, well, shoot, there's only 2 more episodes. Let's just finish this up and see how it ends up. And I mean, I saw it coming. I was like, yeah, because even when I was watching it, I was actually arguing with them with the show as far as it actually being considered a hate crime. Because remember, that's what she was really trying to push it towards.
But I don't think it was a hate crime.
Well, actually, it was. At first, him hitting them didn't make it a hate crime.
It's what he did afterwards, though.
It was. Oh, which we know this, they looked at a black teenager. Yeah, we gonna have to.
And the thing is,
this
it wasn't even his bike. So that's what they was trying to throw together too. Well, why did he have such an expensive bike? You
right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
They had to put that in there.
That's what they tried to think that. Oh, he must have been a gangbanger. He had this expensive bicycle. You living in the hood and you got this expensive bicycle, and apparently the gang members, I guess the younger ones, all had that type of bike type of deal and whatnot.
And I guess
So
my thing too also is why you had to bring the little cousin into it. The main antagonist niece cousin or whatever, the wife's cousin, who was they was trying to get her to say that
she had drove the car. She drove the car. You remember she drove the car when he was trying to hide it in the garage for a few days. He left and he came home and it was gone because she
drove it.
So that's what
almost killed her.
And she started messing around with one of the other cops when they met, when they was doing the, I don't know if it was baby shower or, oh no, she had the baby.
Yeah, the baby.
Whatever. She had hooked up with the with one of the other cops that was involved. So that's what kind of wrapped her in. And she ended up getting pregnant from the dude. So I was okay with how they massaged her into it. You know what I'm saying? So
she was weak to me. Like she didn't have no backbone. That just pissed me off. I still gave it an A, but she was weak.
See, and here's another thing. Why did those dudes put the grill gate, the part of the car? Why did they put it back in
the backyard? That was
because they put it in the pool.
Right.
I was like, seriously? He said, "Get rid of it. Y'all keep it."
Put it in a pool.
Which they did kind of hint at that when he took it. He was like, "Yeah, he kind of acted like," which was ended up being the girl's the sister-in-law's boyfriend. He kind of insinuated, "Yeah, we gonna hold on this just in case." You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's what they ended up doing with it. But yeah, man, I just overall, dude, I had to give it a C. I was disappointed when I was done with it, and whatnot. So that's how I felt about 7 seconds. I give it a C minus. I ain't even giving it a regular C. I give it a C minus.
You tough.
Yeah. What about another something I just recently wrapped up was and this is an example of me not liking series week to week. Unsolved. It was a movie, a mini series about the Tupac and Biggie murders. Have you seen that? So yeah, I've seen it, right? And I liked it. What I liked about it was I'm gonna go ahead and give it a letter. I'm gonna give it a B. And I liked it due to the fact that it really painted a picture which how jacked up the LAPD is. And how it kind of goes from it's kind of a cover up type of deal, and there's no urgency for the truth. You know what I'm saying? They got these you work in a case, and as soon as somebody got information and it might tie in some cops, don't nobody want to talk about it, or they don't want to solve it. They rather leave it unsolved type of deal, And I mean, and to me, that's kind of how I felt it was going, in real life without seeing that. Like, yeah, they don't care. They don't care about solving these crimes. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the LAPD dude is jacked up. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know how it is like in 2018, but you got to really think about this. This is the same LAPD who screwed up the O.J. Simpson murder investigation a few years before these crimes take place. You know what I'm saying?
LA just got a bad rep for handling cases anyway.
So, and I appreciate their depictions of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. because every depiction that we've seen so far, came from like the people close to him. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
To have I'm gonna say an outside source develop a depiction because the executive or some of the producer was actually the cop, the cop that was assigned, that was the lead investigator on the task force. I guess that started in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
He actually was like an executive producer on the show. So he, for them to put this together and they're depicting Tupac and Biggie versus, the other ones I've seen of Tupac and Biggie, which was All Eyes on Me. Obviously, that was done by people who was close to Biggie. To Tupac. And then back in 08 or 09 when they had the movie Notorious, that was obviously pushed and financed by his family. You know what I'm saying? Like family, the mothers had something to do with both those series. Or no, I don't know if Tupac's mom was really involved with All Eyes on Me, but I know Valletta Wallace had something to do with Notorious. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like he had something to do with the casting, And the only reason I know that was because I watched some of the behind the scenes features from that movie and whatnot. So having I'm gonna say an outside source depict these characters,
like an impartial.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like I said, I was more so concerned with okay, let's see what they say, how these crimes, who committed these crimes.
And how don't really know, do they?
How much of it? Well, they know. Well, the some law officials believe they know. Yes.
Okay.
They believe they know. And you said you watched it, but you didn't watch.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
You didn't watch the whole thing of it. Well, no. So do you care for a spoiler alert?
Sure.
Okay. So one of the biggest things was that so basically the way it's portrayed in this show, the Orlando Anderson, that's the man that Tupac and the Death Row Crew beat up in Las Vegas at the fight, the Tyson fight in the hotel lobby. He basically shot Tupac later that night. He told his
and he dead now, right?
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I thought he got killed.
He hit he went to his uncle, who was also there. He and was like, the uncle was like, we'll take care of them when we get back to LA, when we get back to Compton. And the other dude said, nah, you let's take care of it now. He was like, well, I ain't got my gun. He was like, I got one. So they went looking for him. They found him, ran up beside, and shot in the car that had Tupac and Suge in it.
Wow.
And what happened was the uncle, the dude's uncle, he handed him the gun, and he actually handed it to the dude that was in the seat closest to their car. He wouldn't take it. He was like, nah, man. He was like, nah. So the dude that actually got beat up, he took the gun and reached over the dude and shot at Tupac or whatever.
Wow.
So that's their depiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're saying that Suge Knight was responsible for the Christopher Wallace shooting. He basically, one of his baby mamas, one of his females, got her to pay a dude to get Biggie killed. And he basically, because he at the time of the shooting, because Suge Knight ended up in jail because he violated parole by participating in that fight. in Vegas that night.
Oh,
So he was actually locked up because he violated his parole. So but the thing but if you when you get to the end of that series, or that's all it was it's like city officials, the head of the police department, the mayor's office, the DA's office, they don't it's like they don't even want to solve it. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
what I was getting ready to say. It don't
Because
look like anybody
because
in no big hurry to solve that.
he had confessions, and they removed him, and they basically broke up the task force at the end. So and then it was kind of weird how they got the last confession that implicated Suge Knight. It wasn't totally 100% believable to me, the way they depicted them convincing her to tell them what she knew, because she wasn't just gonna just tell them. She was like, y'all tell me what y'all know, because she's like, I ain't about to tell y'all something that y'all don't know. If y'all know and y'all about to send me to jail, I'm cool with that, but I ain't about to tell on myself. Right. So they basically guessed, and what happened was the alleged shooter that Suge Knight got his girl contracted to kill Biggie. He was also killed. He was basically a gangbanger that was killed, and I believe in 2003. So another interesting takeaway, which I thought was weird, is that the uncle, the Orlando Anderson's uncle, I can't remember his name. Keefy D. That's his. I guess that was his street name, right?
Yeah.
He was doing security for Bad Boy and P Diddy in whenever they would come to LA.
Right. So I hate to run it short, man. Real quick, I'm being summoned.
Okay, you got to go ahead.
By the wifey.
Okay. Well, but yeah, but dude, it was okay. I give it a higher grade than 7 seconds. But yeah, I get at a B-.
Oh wow. Okay, that's better than the C-. I guess you almost failed my movie, but it was really good. But we'll catch up, man.
Okay. Good talking to you, man.
Yeah. Y'all hit that button. Don't forget us.
Yes,
Subscribe to our show.
There you go.
Give us our feedback. Let us know.
All right, there you go. All right, y'all take care, YouTube.
All right, Bobo. I'll let you, man.
Yes, sir.
Later.